Good morning. Good morning, family. Good to have us all here together this precious Monday, the 29th of August. I'm so delighted to see all the names I'm seeing already. My Wiser Nation family, thank you so much for honoring this invitation. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for taking yourself seriously to be in here at 6 a.m. Thank you so much. It's a great day in Nigeria, it's a great day in our lives. It's a great day in our destinies. Good morning. I'm so glad that I have us here. Justice, Lacey, Cheer, Priscilla, Doris, Kayode, Love. At least those are the names I've seen for now. Thank you. Someone was asking the other time if I can't see all the people who are on the call. I said, no, it's a YouTube live. It's different from like Zoom where you can see all the names. It's only people who comment that I can see. Okay, I see Stella, cheer. So I can see the number of people who might have clicked in, but I can't see all the names. Yes, Nancy, good morning. Erica, morning, morning, morning. So this morning, our conversation is wrapped around another uh, one of the 7 habits. So for anyone who has been joining, or if you're coming in for the first time, at the Talk with Joy series this year, we have been discussing learning points from the book The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, one of the most effective books that I have ever come across. And if you have not read it, please put it in your to-do list and give it a deadline. Say, I will read it in September, or I'll read it in October, or I'll read it by my next birthday, but give it a definite timeline that you will stick to. Buy it. Don't download, don't go and look for free PDF. No, don't steal the work. Don't avoid paying for the hard work that somebody else had put in. So buy the book and put it in your list to study. So today we're discussing habit 6, which is called synergy, but I've adapted it to how I see it and how I would like to talk about it, because it just helps me make sense of it. And that is, it takes a village. It takes a village to, the context in which we always heard this phrase was in raising a child. You say it takes a village to raise a child. Not only mommy and daddy can raise a child effectively. You need aunties, uncles, nannies, teachers. But when you think about it, truly, it takes a village to do almost anything that is worthy of note. Hi, Priscilla. Hi, Auntie Victoria. I see you. It takes a village to do almost anything that is worthy of note. And when we think about it in this way, it gives us some responsibility, yet some ease. How do I mean? Now, many of us are trying to, this is habit six, synergy, habit 6. Many of us are trying to make it in life, for lack of a better phrase. We want to make it in life. We are trying to succeed in business, succeed in marriage, succeed in community relations, succeed in politics. And we get in with our ideas, with our strengths, with our vision, with our goals, with our drive. But when you realize, I can't make this on my own, I need a village, it will allow us open up to learning from other people and synergizing with other people, working hand in hand with other people. Now, I talk about this because for some people like me, yes, I'm putting myself on the spot. For some people like me who are strong willed, strong minded, as it were, guess what? Many times we tend to want to do everything by ourselves and forget that other people can help. And it might not be because we think we're self sufficient, it might be because we just don't want to disturb anybody else. It might also be because there's a level of pride, ego that says, if I let them help me, won't it make me seem not as strong as I am? Or I won't be the Indaboski that I was before. I won't be the titanium anymore. After all, the titanium is supposed to get things done by herself. The Indaboski is supposed to, be all sufficient. And so I don't want anybody to help me. I want to start the process, finish it by myself, and show the world that, hey, I'm strong. Many of us who are trailblazers, pace setters, if we're not careful, we'll fall into the trap of thinking that we can do it by ourselves. And that's one of the reasons why we might look into the future and wonder, how did I miss it? And if we'll be honest with ourselves, we might see, I'm not saying we might see that we didn't allow other people come into the space to help us. It takes a village. I put in here two other words that will help explain what it takes a village is. Of course, the word in the book is synergy, which also means combined effort. It takes combined effort. So if you're able to think about yourself right now, where you are, the things you want to achieve today, this week, we have till Wednesday for the month to end. Today's 29th, we have tomorrow 30, then Wednesday is 31st. There's still some things we are trying to achieve. When we remember that it takes a village to achieve those things, I can't do it on my own. You now begin to ask questions like, you use the 5 W's and 1 H, which I always say is the solution to life. Who can I call? Who can I ask? Where can I go to for information? The 5 W's. What else do I need to know? Because it takes combined effort. When can I speak with this person? Then how can I put together a team, or how can I make it happen with combined effort of other people? So you start asking questions that should give you solutions towards solving the challenge, and solving it with combined effort and synergy of other people. Please, if this is making sense to you, just write in the chat, makes sense, or write MS for short, makes sense. Or you can also write, I hear, or you can write, I understand. So that's IH or IU, and I would see that you're with me and it's making sense, you're understanding. Synergize. So we might even begin to look back, because if we can take a look back, thank you, I'm seeing your responses coming. If we can take a look back at some projects of ours that maybe didn't work out, you might look at it squarely and evaluate, which is what in business or in process project management we'll call monitoring and evaluation. You have to monitor it and evaluate. You need truth when you're evaluating something. You might look through and say, I really tried to do this. I didn't ask the right questions. You see, when you start asking people questions, you are going into synergy, because you're trying to tap into the knowledge of other people. When you decide to pay for a course, a certificate program, a diploma program, or one that doesn't even give any certificates at all, but it gives knowledge, guess what that is? That's combined effort, because you are taking in the knowledge of the person who is teaching. When I hear some people say, oh, the course is too expensive, the question is, what's the cost of the ignorance? What is it costing you not to know this thing that you need? You want to be promoted this year before the end of the year. And I'm asking, what has changed in your knowledge? Getting that knowledge is combined effort, because you will be getting the information of someone who has gone ahead of you. Jim Rohn, Jimrohn, like John, John is Rohn. Jim Rohn is someone that let me just put that in the chat. Someone that I love to listen to. He's like one of my heroes of, what do you call it now? Social engineering, mindset engineering, excuse me. And Jim Rohn said when he was 25, he met a mentor, Mr. Schoaf. And Mr. Schoaf asked him how much he earned. And he said, oh, the company pays. He said, oh, let's say I earn $100. And he said, "Why do you earn $100?" And he said, "Yeah, that's what the company pays me. That's what the company pays me." And he says, "Oh, well, that's what the company can afford," or something like that. And he said, "No. That's what the company pays you. There are people within your organization that earn $300. If you say you earn $100, or let me speak in naira, if you say you earn 50,000 naira or 100,000 naira, there are people within that same organization who might be earning double or triple. So why is the company paying them more?" And he was like, "Oh, I never really saw it that way." And he went to take a look and he said, "Yes, this person is earning so much more. Why? They have gotten there through combined efforts. Firstly, they went to gather knowledge that they could not have generated by themselves. They, what we might call, they added some certifications, meaning they spent time to learn from someone, and they brought in the power of that knowledge to execute within the organization. Something else many of them did was they networked with people within the organization. They made themselves seen, heard, known, meaning they were also solving other people's problems, combined effort. And so the company will see them, recognize them, and move them up. They are the ones who are solving problems that usually are not caused by them. Many people who don't apply combined effort will not be willing to solve a problem that they didn't cause. Joyce, can you help us solve this problem? Like, why should I? You may not say why should I, but you'd be like, well, I didn't cause it. The people who caused it are in this room. I think they should take it on and solve it themselves. Yes and no. Yes, they created it. It's difficult for the people who created the problem to solve it, because if they knew better, they might do better. So whilst we're trying to get them to a knowledge of, or a place, a mind space of knowing better to do better, how about you, Joyce? Help us, because you already have the knowledge. Bring in your efforts so that we can synergize to solve the problem together. Synergy, combined effort, will take a level of humility. So many of you know that I'm on a political journey. Right now, I'm a hopeful to be local government chairman in my local government, Eastern Central. To be considered politically relevant, you will need synergy. You will need to work with people, respect their opinions, respect their contributions, which may not align with yours, especially initially, until you try to see things from their point of view and see that, oh, that makes sense. I'll give you a typical, an example that it can easily be taken for granted if you don't listen with humility. And of course, once you're getting into the space of humility, that means you need to drop ego, which is a tough one for people who are achievers, as it were. But the more aware we are of what we are trying to achieve, and the fact that we understand it takes combined effort, it takes a village, I can't do it on my own, then it kind of helps it become a little easier to drop the ego. So you're going in for a meeting, or you're going in to see some people, and someone says to you, "Oh, you know where we're going, they will offer us Emma." Emma is pounded yam, or it could be fufu, but it's pounded, so it's Emma. And some people will pound fufu with yam, like it's very commonly done in my area, and I like it with correct black soup or one. So he said, they will offer us Emma. And you go, oh, well, today I'm fasting, so I'm not really going to eat. And they say, no, here, when you are offered food, you eat, else it will be taken as pride, because people want to see that you accept them. They see many politicians as people who already feel some sort of way, some that have some level of superiority, as it were. Then you now will not eat their food. Then go look you up down. They go tell you, don't worry, when you come, you go show you, you go chop your eye. So you will eat. Ego at that time will say, well, look, I take my fasting seriously. I know my goals. I know where I am. I know who I am. I know what I am. I don't need blah, blah, blah. Combined efforts will say, we will continue this fast tomorrow. And when we get there, we'll wash our hands and we'll eat the ema, because it will win us camaraderie. It will win us acceptance. And when you actually do eat that ema, people are happy. But you see, if you didn't listen to that team member who made the suggestion, which is the combined effort, chances are you will lose out on something. In trying to achieve, we will drop ego. So please, someone write drop ego. Ego can be a blinder to combined efforts. In fact, the Bible talks about it in, I believe it's First Corinthians chapter 12. First Corinthians chapter 12, where it says, if let me see if I can open it and read a verse from there. I really enjoyed reading this First Corinthians, not First Chronicles. First Corinthians 12. Yes, we'll drop ego. Okay, let me read from verse 4, where it says, I'm reading the Message translation. It says, God's various gifts are handed out everywhere, but they all originate in God's Spirit. God's various ministries are carried out everywhere, but they all originate in God's Spirit. God's various expressions of power are in action everywhere, but God Himself is behind it all. Each person is given something to do that shows who God is. Everyone gets in on it. Everyone benefits. All kinds of things are handed out by the Spirit and to all kinds of people. The variety is wonderful. Wise counsel, clear understanding, simple trust, healing the sick, miraculous acts, proclamation, distinguishing between spirits, tongues, interpretation of tongues. He says all these gifts have a common origin but are handed out one by one by the one Spirit of God. He decides who gets what and when. You can easily enough see how this kind of things work. This kind of thing works by looking no further than your own body. I'm reading First Corinthians chapter 12. I'm now in verse 12. He says you can easily see how this kind of thing works by looking no further than your own body. Your body has many parts. It has limbs, organs, cells. But no matter how many parts you can name, you are still one body. It's exactly the same with Christ. By means of His Spirit, we all said goodbye to our partial and piecemeal lives. We each used to independently call our own shots, but then we entered into a large and integrated life in which He has the final say in everything. Then he goes further down somewhere. Let me see. He says, I'm now in verse 14. I want you to think about how all this makes you more significant, not less. A body isn't just a single part blown up into something huge, but it is different but similar parts arranged and functioning together. If the foot said, I'm not elegant like the hand, like all of you now are seeing me, but you can't see my foot. If the foot now says, well, I'm not elegant like the hand, embellished with rings, I guess I don't belong to this body. The question here is, will that make it so that the foot is not important? If the ear said, I'm not beautiful like the eye, see, even my hair is covering the ear. And so the ear will now say, I'm not beautiful like the eye, transparent and expressive. I don't deserve a place on the head. Would you then want to remove it from your body? If the body was all eye, how would you hear? If the body was all ear, how would you smell? As it is, we see that God has carefully placed each part of the body right where he wanted it. But I also want you to think about how this keeps your significance from getting blown up into self-importance. I mean, this is the chapter about synergy. For no matter how significant you are, it is only because of what you are a part of. Joyce, can you hear me? If you are so significant, it is because of what you belong to. Nobody can be so significant on their own. Our significance comes from the village where we are. This is still 1 Corinthians chapter 12. I'm reading the Message translation. An enormous eye or a gigantic hand wouldn't be a body, it will be a monster. If you see somebody that is the whole head is an eye or the whole head is a hand, that's no longer a person, it's now a monster. What we have is one body with many parts, each its proper size in its proper place. No part is important on its own. Can you imagine the eye telling the hand, get lost, I don't need you? Or the head telling the foot, you're fired, your job has been phased out? As a matter of fact, in practice, it works the other way. The lower the part, and they wrote lower in parentheses, the lower the part, not parentheses, quotation marks, the more basic and therefore the more necessary it is. You can live without an eye, for instance. There are many people who live without eyes, but you cannot live without a stomach. Nobody sees a stomach. How many of you have seen your stomach? Or have you seen my stomach? You've seen the outward expression of what we call a belly, right? But the stomach as an organ, have you seen it before? Imagine, because we don't see it now, we say we don't need it. Meanwhile, the eye that you see, there are people who can live and have lived excellent lives without eyes, but we don't know anybody who has lived very well without a stomach. When it's a part of your own body, you are concerned with it. It makes no difference whether the part is visible or closed, higher or lower. You give it dignity and honor just as it is, without comparisons. If anything, you have more concern for the lower parts than the higher parts. You can't see your heart, right? But let your heart just have one small problem. Have a mild heart attack. Wow. If you had to choose, wouldn't you prefer good digestion to full-bodied hair? Yet many of us spend a lot of money on our hair, but don't spend the same amount of attention on the digestion. I'm going to leave it here for now. I stopped at verse 24. Many of us would take care of the hair. Somebody told me yesterday about how much thousands, hundreds of thousands she had spent on trying to fix her front hair, because that part can be seen. What about the parts that cannot be seen? Same way in your team, there are people who may not be seen. And when I say your team, it may not be a team that you have put together by yourself. It's a team you belong to. You might be the visible one, but what about the people who are not visible? How do we show them appreciation? Once again, we'll need to drop ego first. It means that when we're dropping ego, we also need a level of healthy confidence. Confidence enough to trust what we might term a lower part, because it takes a village, combined effort. When you pick a taxi and you're going into a place you don't know, right? You now use your Google map, and after a while your network might fail you. Guess what? You will park somewhere and you tell the taxi driver, please park, or maybe you're the one driving yourself, you will park and ask question, please, I'm looking for Bobo Tibo. And they say, okay, Bobo Tibo, you have passed it. It was that the street behind you, that one that has transformer. If you like, don't ask question now. Combined effort, you will jam rock and miss your way. And many times we want to guess it. And I don't even know why we do that. Don't worry, I don't need to ask. And then we make errors. And then we now come back and say, excuse me, please. Where is this place? And they say, you passed it 20 minutes ago. Oh, start going back. When you now see one big signboard, one star, you see one big signboard that is star, or what's that other beer? Hero. When you see that hero signboard, right there, you see one woman selling banana. By her side, there's one small road there. You've passed it. In fact, just turn back. If you had started asking this question from the beginning, or you started using the map or something, combined effort would have made it easier. So the book is telling us that people who are more effective are those who understand that it takes a village. They are question askers. You need confidence to ask questions. Something else we need is maturity. How would the dictionary define maturity? Maturity meaning says the state of being mature. Okay, so now let me check the meaning of mature. We need maturity. We need to be mature. Mature means fully developed, having reached an advanced stage, fully developed in your mind, fully developed in your emotions, fully developed in your value system. The reason some of us will leave our values when trying to listen to team members might be because our own values and value system is not yet mature. Then, when we get to the point that we fully are developed in our value system, it is easy to disregard advice that is not in tandem with our values without making the person who suggested that feel bad. Maturity will allow you drop the suggestion without destroying the person. That's where maturity comes in. So we see a lot of people who want to defend their value systems, but do it in a very immature way. Can you imagine? They told me to do this or do that. They said, no, that nonsense. It is that immaturity making us lose steam, lose energy. Maturity will take a look at it and say, how do we go around this? Okay. Remember, this number 6 is not in isolation. Some months ago, we talked about win-win. This is why I said we need to read the book. So when you get to the point of synergy, you've started developing 5 previous habits. One of those habits is think win-win. How can I make this person win and how will this person win and I will win? So let me even use one typical one and say, okay, for you to win this challenge, we're going to have to bribe our way through. We have to sort this person out. If we don't sort them, we won't win. Maturity would stop me from banging on the table and blowing off the handle and say, how can I will never do such a thing? Maturity would say, is there no other way? I say, there's no other way we can see. Is there nothing else that they need okay, so can we try? So what else can we try? You see, you start asking questions, 5 Ws. What else can we try? Who can we call to speak on our behalf that might make us, and say, okay, let's go and speak to Oga Joseph. Oga Joseph knows them, he's their person. You see, you start asking questions. And we say, okay, Oga Joseph, this is what we're trying to achieve. What we've been told is that for us to get it done, you must bribe this person. Oga Joseph say, no. They put that leg out where they don't know people. Don't worry, let me call my person there. You now call, Madam Biggie. How now? This my person wants to come in there. Oh, please, let's assist them. Let's open the door for them, okay? Guy, no say they're supposed to drop something. No. See, these are our people. They're trying to achieve this and that. Okay. Organa, because now Guess what? Who has won? Everybody. But maturity is what will make us ask, who else can we call? Where else can we go? What else can we do? And also know that at some point you might need to draw the line and say, okay, I'm willing to walk away. If this is the only way, then it's okay. I can walk away right here. And guess what? You walk away with your dignity intact, and everybody wins. You didn't achieve that thing today, but you will also remind yourself, which has happened many times, especially when we think win-win. They'll say that person that walked away that day, let's go and call her. I like to use Dora Akunyili's story. I love it. It's one of the best stories that is absolutely apt for this when it comes to how to handle your values maturely for the win. I read her book, I think that was 2 or 3 months ago, when she was in PTDF. Is it PTDF? Yes. When she worked with PTDF after she had worked in the local government, she was a lecturer, then she was seen as this woman of integrity that was brought into the local government to work in the agriculture office. And she got there and realized that the people in the local government were selling the fertilizer that were given to farmers, fertilizer that the federal government was giving for free. For years, they had been selling it. So when that responsibility fell on her office, she said, this thing is, all the documents show it's free. So that day, the first day when the trailer of fertilizers came, she stood out there, trailer load of fertilizer. Now, people were coming from different parts of the state, Anambra State. They came in to collect their fertilizers with the money that they would normally pay at the local government. And she held the list, stood at that trailer, and would call so and so name. They'll say, present, take your fertilizer, 4 bags, go. They say, oh, madam, what about the money? They said, no, the government gives it to you for free. Free. She stood there for at least 4 to 7 hours until that trailer load was empty. Everybody was shocked. They were like, madam, are you sure we're supposed to go? We have been paying for this thing all these years. She said the government gives this fertilizer for free. She stood there with her 2 legs, finished offloading that trailer load of fertilizer to the people, and went back into her office to face the heat. People came, this is not how it's done. But she just stood the ground. Guess what? When her tenure there was over, somebody heard of her. See, this universe, the universe, when we remember, your values will remind you that the universe is watching. God has placed the universe to set you up depending on how much you will give credence to the things that really matter. Somebody somehow heard from the PTDF that there was one woman at Anambra office, agriculture, local government, one of the local governments in Anambra State. One woman who did so and so and so. That's the kind of person we need here. That's how she got that letter from PTDF. She now went to PTDF. Now, while she was at PTDF, she had an issue with her stomach, or I think it was a stomach or something. So she went to the UK. They gave her sick leave, told her to go to a particular hospital in the UK, and she had $17,000 as her, what do you call that thing now? The amount of money that the government has allocated to that treatment. So for her level at PTDF, anybody who was going for treatment had up to $17,000 for medical expenses. Can you imagine that? A government office actually allocates thousands of dollars. No, is it dollars or pounds now for treatment of staff? But anyway, let's come back. So she went to the clinic, went to the hospital, they checked her. After everything, they found it was even a minor thing. She had gone to hospitals here, found it was a minor thing-ish, and all she had to spend was £5,000. So when she finished at the hospital that day, they said, oh, let's go into like the finance room. She got in there and they said, okay, they want to prepare her receipt for £17,000, something. She says, no, what you spent was 5,000. What we spent was 5,000. So why do you want to give me receipt of £17,000? She said they asked her, are you not from Nigeria? She said, I am from Nigeria, yes. So they all looked at each other perplexed. Oh, Igbo people. And they say, but this person, your colleague just left here, this other person, that's how we do it. They will give you your receipt. There's no problem. You don't even need to pay us any extra. And she said, no. Give me a receipt for what I spent. No. Now, this was even, it was not travel allowance, it was for the medical bill. Her travel allowance is even different. She was giving money for her medical bill. So guess what? She came back home to her PTDF office and returned to the coffers 12,000 pounds or dollars. And of course, people started coming to her. Hey, if you go and return this amount of money now, they will now call all of us. This is not how you do it. What are you trying to prove? This and that. She said, please, people should not be angry. My conscience will not allow me. Please, 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 please. My father had told me this thing. My grandmother had told me, look, my conscience, I don't want to close road for my children in future. Please, just leave me. So she returned 12,000. Now, about 2 years later or thereabouts, a meeting was going on in the presidential villa. Obasanjo was now the president and was saying there is this agency, NAFDAC, that keeps having problem. I need somebody who has strong will and has a sense of integrity to lead that place. Somebody who can shun their eyes to evil. That's what NAFDAC needs right now, because the people there are playing games with those who are infiltrating the bad, the illicit drugs and expired drugs, fake drugs. I need that kind of person. Now, somebody in that meeting, his name is written in the book, said, when I was at PTDF, I heard of a woman. I don't know her, but I heard of a woman who returned 12,000 something to. I heard the universe once again. I heard. And he mentioned her name. A certain woman, she's a lecturer. Igbo woman. And immediately somebody has said, Igbo, the minister of health is already Igbo. We cannot bring another Igbo person. In fact, we even heard that her certificate is not real. Right? Go and read that book. The title of the book is I Am Because We Are. How is that for synergy? It takes a village. The book is I Am Because We Are. Or Because We Are, I Am. One of them. I cried. And so, Obasanjo said, go and get me her phone number. Go do a little bit more. I Am Because We Are. I think that's the title. Go and do a little bit more background check on her and get me her number. Within a few days, he got her phone number. So she was in her house with her husband when their landline rang, and she picked the phone and he said, hello, my name is Olusegun Obasanjo. And she was shaking. She almost fainted because she recognized the voice, that this is really Olusegun. I think she said the Olusegun first, like, and he said, yes, President. And she's like, I think she knelt down or something, like, sir? And he said, I've heard about you and I have a job for you. Will you be willing to take it? She didn't ask what job. She said, yes, sir. And he said, okay, come to the villa next week. So they made those arrangements. She went there and had a conversation in the sitting room with him. And he just wanted to know more. Why did you do it? What was behind that? Just asked her those questions and she answered to the best of her conscience. She was mature in her values. Without putting anybody down and calling anybody, she didn't fight. She just did her own. Sometimes the immaturity is that we now begin to fight other people. What's wrong with you? God will punish all of you. No. See, just, if you want to do it, please, you're okay. Me, this is where I'm okay. And that's how Obasanjo gave her the office of Director General, NAFDAC. And she went in there, did her evaluations, and battled it out. One of the things she did when she got into NAFDAC, now let me tell you about where she applied the principle of it takes a village. One of the things she did when she got in there was she looked at the welfare package of the people who were supposed to be fighting corruption. And it didn't look good. She said people will not feel valued when they are given these kinds of remuneration for the hard work that they do. So, Mr. President, one of the things we're going to do is review their remuneration, give them status items, the required cars, phones that they need, blah, 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 medical allowances, They need to feel valued for them to also give their best value. So everything is in that book. It cost how many? Her budget was how many hundreds of millions, and the president approved, including improving their office environment, putting TV in the office, making someone feel appreciated, because she realized it's going to be combined effort. I need these people to understand that I value them. And then she went and started talking to them about, I can't do this alone. It's written in that book. I can't do this alone. I need you. And those she saw that were really going to stand against her because they had more to gain from the bad guys, they found ways to uproot them and remove them and put them in other places. While those, she said, look, let's work together. And she started all these recognition systems. Oh, celebrating the best team, celebrating those who put in effort. Now everybody wants to put in effort to do work because it takes a village. In fact, this is like, we can close here, because that takes you dropping your ego, that takes confidence, that takes maturity in understanding your values. One of your values being that you value people. That takes empathy. That takes empathy in understanding what other people are going through, where they're coming from. Even when she was trying to reach out to some of those fraudsters, not just fraudsters, some of those bad guys who were bringing in fake drugs, what were their challenges? Some of the challenges were this and that, and she was trying to help some of them solve those challenges. If we solve this problem for you, okay, some of you are saying that our taxes, our import tax is too high on this and that. If we're able to work with the other organizations that will help us drop the tax, will you now start bringing original drugs? Guess what? Some people aligned, because she had to go back to the value of win-win. How can they win and I win? So you mean if we're able to do this and that? Some of them say, we're only buying this kind of China. Please permit me to use, we're only buying, let me not use the word China or the name China. We're bringing in some of these fake drugs because they are cheap and they're the ones we can sell. Oh my gosh. Joyce, value people. It also will make you have the abundance mentality. Or it also will synergy, taking a village, utilizing the strengths of other people. You will require an abundance mentality. You would need to see that there is enough knowledge, there is enough wisdom, there is enough for us all. I can't win alone. We all can win together. There is enough. It means you will also need a great healthy level of positive thinking. There is enough. Everything will go well. If I stand by the truth, I listen to the people, we find a win-win, then everything will be all right. But when we always are looking at what can go wrong, how about we start also looking at what will go right, what can go right? I'm not saying that in caution and planning, we don't preempt what could go wrong. I'm saying don't live in that mentality of always, hey, something might go wrong. Hey, some people will say, you might say to somebody, oh, I want to travel to Ilorin. And the first thing they ask is, on the road, Nigerian road. You see, that's somebody who is living in, they don't even know where they're living. Somebody else might ask, you want to go to Ilorin? Are you going with any private security, or how do you want to go? Okay, God will go with you. What's your security strategy? And you say, well, the best I can do is hire one security person to travel with me, and then I trust God for the rest of them. They say, fantastic. I say, hey, Nigerian road, hey, don't travel. Like, people on those roads every day. There is insecurity. Doesn't mean that we now begin to live in fear. You want to buy from the hey, you want to do surgery in a Nigerian hospital, God forbid. Hey, there are people who have surgeries every day here and it works. Things are not as we want them to be, doesn't mean we live in negativity. We will still maintain our positive thinking based off again on our value system. And what is the foundation of values? And for some of us, we claim it is God and His Word, but our expressions, our reactions don't show that the value that we are built on, or the foundation of our values is God. Oh, I want to, but I'm so afraid. Come on. Who do you trust? Who do you trust? Who do you trust? What is my foundation? What is my anchor? I don't know how many of us remember the cartoon or ever saw the cartoon Voltron or Captain Planet. Voltron or Captain Planet. Voltron, it was lions, and there was the legs, there were two hands, two legs, and when they come together, said, okay, let's form Voltron. They will all put their powers together and they will now form Voltron. Captain Planet was the same. Somebody had the power of wind, somebody had the power of water, somebody had the power of earth, somebody had the power of fire. And you will now hear when they put their rings and their lights will start joining together. You hear the voice says, when our powers combine, I am Captain Planet. Captain Planet, he's a hero, undertakes pollution down to zero. I used to love that cartoon, and every time Captain Planet was being formed, I would have goosebumps. Captain Planet will come up when we combine our energies. The person who has the power of earth will join the one with power of water, power of fire, power of wind combined. So you have the power to speak. Somebody else has the power to plan. Somebody else has the power to beg. What we might call campaign. Somebody else might call it fundraising. It's begging. That's their power. Utilize it. And don't look and say, she's always begging. He can beg. No, how can I utilize this? I need somebody. I'm using the raw word beg because when we look at it that way, sometimes we're like, I don't want to beg. It is fundraising. It is, you need help. Somebody who knows how to go out and get help. You want to build a business, someone will call it a pitching. I want to pitch to investors. It's begging. When you bring it down to the basic term, it's begging. It's soliciting for help. You will need to drop your ego. So no, I don't want to, go and write Sonia Lumelu to get $5,000 support. I beg, God. Somebody will show you the right words to use to ask for help. You need it in your campaign. And your campaign doesn't necessarily mean that you want a political office. You want to campaign to get a promotion. Who will go and talk to the right people to say, give this girl a chance to write this exam? I know she missed it. Yes, her appraisal says she's minus C or she's in C minus. But let's give her one more try. Look, lady, we're going to be watching you for the next 2 weeks to see how this your appraisal can be affected. But you see, if you didn't go and ask for that help, nobody will speak on your behalf. Who can speak for me? Who will teach me? I think the point has been made that it takes a village to achieve the things that we desire strongest. For a marriage to work, it takes a village. You will seek counsel, you will work with in-laws, you will work with friends, you will understand schedules, you will work with even people who are outside of your marriage. But that whole, no third party, no third party. The question now is, who is the right third party? You will need help, you need support, somebody to help with the children, somebody to babysit. You need all those support systems. The question is the right one. But there is not that thing about don't bring third parties in has to be taken in context. Third parties have to be the right people who understand, who are mature, have emotional intelligence, and have the right solution. Sometimes you go to the third party who will give you the wrong solution. How do you now identify who the right person is? Who will help you decisively deal with the matter? I wish you a great month in September. I wish you we still have 2 more days in August. I wish you the best of the rest of the month, as I wish myself. And we remember that it takes a village. It takes a village. It takes a village. It takes a village. So I want you to make one decision as you leave this morning. Take one decision. Make one decision. What is that one thing I need to own? I need to hone more. Is it dropping my ego? Is it maturity? Is it empathy? Is it confidence to ask? Is it confidence to ask for help? Is it abundance mentality or positive thinking? What is that one thing that I want to hold on to today as I'm going forward, that I'm going to go back to my values and the foundations of my values? Please make one decision. We've heard so much, but hold on to one. Hold on to one thing as you leave. Make that decision. Write it down. put it in your notes, use a pen, put it down, own it. This one thing we ask of you, one thing that we desire, just one thing. One thing I desire of the Lord, that one thing will I seek for. One thing. One thing. I love you and I wish you a great day. Thank you for being here with me today on Talk with Joyce. If you have not subscribed to my channel yet, do so. And there are a number of videos. If you missed the past months and you have the time now, or you want to set a reminder for maybe tomorrow morning, 6 o'clock, go and watch the edition that we had in July, the one in June, the one in April, May. If you were in Wiser last, there's so much on my YouTube channel to see. There's so many videos of value that will, something there will speak to you somewhere. It's a good place to spend your time and your data when you can make out time. You can just set a reminder that, oh, for the next few days, I will come here in 15 minutes, I'll watch one video or the other. Do so and share, tell other people about it. And yes, when you like the video, what happens is the algorithm makes the video become more visible to other people who don't even know me. So you're subscribing, you're liking the video is helping other people discover this video. And if you can recommend it to one person and say, I think you should watch this, let them watch it and you can discuss it. You can watch this video together in a group with your children, with somebody, and then have a conversation about it. This is not a, you know how at the start of some books you will see no part of this book should be reproduced, something. This one, every part of it can be reproduced and shared at will as you like. And the author, as it were, will not be angry. In fact, she will be so happy that you shared it with the world. I'm glad. Oh, somebody's here from Zamfara State. I'm so excited. Thank you so much, Khalid, for clicking in today. All right. Bye, everyone. God bless.